Alvin and Ryan. So our main mission today is discovering the best response to the current rise of animal rights activists and protection. So here's today's agenda. So we're going to present SWOT analysis and move on to situational analysis, our 3 recommendations and implementation, following by the risks and mitigation and conclusive summary. And we'll be accepting questions afterward. So here's our SWOT analysis. First is the strength. So we have differentiated theme parks, experienced teams, and specialized animal expertise, and we care for natural world. And here's our weaknesses. The weaknesses are the public incident, violated regulation of animals, and adverse litigation judgment. And the opportunities are raising animal awareness and promoting new brand image. And last are threats. Threats are competition, rising animal activists, and the consumer shift. So now Brian's going to present the situational analysis.
Now the situational analysis. So now currently SeaWorld is facing 2 major issues with their company. First is PETA organization, which is a group of animal rights activists. They has filed a lawsuit against SeaWorld on 5 captive orca whales and asked for the release. Second major issue they're currently facing is the movie called Blackfish. Currently, the movie shows the critical side effect of capturing and keeping such intelligent and sentient creatures in captivity to be able to promote the awareness of animal abuse. Thus, leading on to the SeaWorld park's attendance growth, from 2008 to 2011, there was a constant attendance growth because of the benefit of that's been given by orca. However, due to the announcement of this kind of accusation of animal abuse made by PETA organization and also the movie called Blackfish, it had resulted the downside from 2012 to 2014 and hit the lowest point in current situation. Thus, this is a current issue.
Okay, there are 3 ways we can respond to this incident. First, we can choose to ignore it completely. Next, we can issue a proper response, or we can rebrand our company. We have created a decision criteria based off 3 necessary components for marketing, which includes feasibility, marketability, and profitability. Let's start off with our first option of ignoring. We see that this option is perfectly feasible as it does not require us to change any of our policies. However, this could affect our marketability as it shows that we do not care about the alleged issues of animal rights abuses. This goes against our current marketing trend of a protection for animal rights abuses and therefore can reduce consumers that also affects our profitability. Let's move on to our next option of issuing a proper response. This is also feasible, requires a little bit more work, but it's perfectly feasible for us to issue a response. And it allows us to correct changes in false allegations by different animal companies. However, this does not guarantee a marketing position. We have issued a statement before with PETA and even won a legal court case against them, yet people are never convinced. They do not always believe our statements. That is why our consumer rate is going down since 2012. Issuing a statement is not enough just to maintain profitability and future innovation for our current marketing trends. This leads on to our final option of rebranding our company. We see that this is also feasible. It requires a lot more work, but it's feasible with the revenues our company generates. And it appeals to our current marketing trend of animal rights protections by rebranding our SeaWorld company into a more conservative SeaWorld that cares about marine life and preservation. We see that we'll be able to attract future consumers, new consumers, like animal activists, who will finally find interest in SeaWorld.
So the recommendation that we have come to a conclusion with is rebranding. Essentially, this decision was met by 2 aspects. The first one was orca confinement. Essentially, due to the heavy criticism of orca shows that were being conducted, as the chart initially showed, consumer spending has decreased dramatically since the 2000s. Essentially, we believe that when we ban this, that means we can increase the amount of consumers that were opposed to SeaWorld because of the abuses. Secondly, is to partner with the Institute for Ocean Conservation Science. Essentially, by partnering with someone so reputable, we can be able to increase our credibility and show that we're making efforts in order to address and allow these animal abuses to be monitored in such cases. In the end, future growth will be reached because of the fact that we're now matching the market trend. Now the implementation timeline goes as follows. Our week 1, we will regroup SeaWorld CEOs from operating states to discuss changes and make this a monthly thing. Month 1, we draft regulations to stop entertainment shows of orca whales. Month 3, we discuss new ideas on focusing on showcase roller coasters and such. Month 4, discuss partnership with Institution for Ocean Conservation Science. Month 6, rebrand to change company facilities and systems to be completed within 6 months. Month 10, get sponsors rehabilitation programs to help injured animals. And in the end, after this year, we will start opening facilities to public.
So we're going to be presenting several risk and mitigations. Our first risk that we're going to be presenting today is going to be gate revenue might decrease. This is when less consumers come to SeaWorld, which means that therefore decrease in revenues and lowering the stalls. And we're going to be mitigating this by increasing consumers through our rebranding recommendation, recruitment of new customers through the rebranding towards the animal rights that our company is going to take a stance towards. The second risk is going to be the lack of partnerships that's going to happen, where other environmental companies might not want to partner up. But as we said, our mission is going to be transparency, where companies willing to raise awareness on animal rights abuses will partner up with our company since we give that appeal. And finally, it's going to be employee training and layoff. The employees need new training, and some might be laid off in the end. But then we give the different training where we can each help. Where we can keep the same employees and give them different training, which will reduce the amount of layoffs that will actually happen. And therefore, a conclusive summary, we're going to be talking about 2 things. Even if we forget everything that we have talked about in the end, we just want to remember these 2 things. First is that we're promising you long-term growth for this company. And second, we're going to be providing adaptation to new consumers through rebranding.